Hi, I'm Danielle Johnson, and I'm a senior on the SPU women's rowing team.
Danielle, last weekend the WERA Championships in the Sacramento area were contested. The SPU crews did very well. You rowed in varsity at finished third. How did you feel about the performance of the crews down there?
I felt really well about our team performance in Sacramento. It was a great race to bring the majority or the whole team to. Racing 7 boats across is really unique and something we haven't gotten to do in the Seattle area very often, so it was really exciting. And then having 3 out of our 4 boats medal and all 4 boats make it to the grand final was really exciting for the whole team.
It's a 2-day event. Saturday there were heats and then grand final Sunday. How difficult is that to give it your all in a heat race and then have to come back the next day and do it again? How do you prepare for that?
To be honest, it's kind of nice. Sometimes we'll race 2 races in a row with only an hour in between, so being able to race in heats, see some of your opponents, and then come back, learn from that, talk about it, make a new plan, and then come back the next day is a really great experience. And it's also one that we haven't had this season so far with other crews that we've raced multiple times. So it was really great to race, think about it, reflect, and then go at it again the next day.
Great. Well, you talked about rowing experiences. This weekend, several of you will experience something that's very unique in the sport of rowing, even worldwide. You'll be competing in the Windermere Cup, which is on a narrow Montlake Cut right by the University of Washington. Fans line both sides. And then out in the water, there's log boom with boats. So the entire course, length of the course, there are people very close to you. You had the opportunity to row in that as a freshman in 2019. What do you remember about that experience?
Yeah, freshman year, I remember being prepped for it, saying it was going to be really loud. It was super unique. Usually, rowing is somewhat spectator friendly, but a lot of the time, the cheering just comes within the last 200 meters of your race. It's the very end. You're already giving it everything you have. Whereas Windermere, there are boats the whole length of the course. There's cheering the whole time. I was prepped not to get distracted, but honestly, it was just really good energy, and it was super unique to see so many people, so many cheering. You can't really tell who they're cheering for, but the energy gets you through, and it was really unique and really fun to watch and row in.
Were you successful in being able to row without being distracted?
Yeah, it was good. I remember just sticking to the race plan, and I was worried. I'd been prepped that it was going to be very loud because there are so many people there, and it was. I was worried I wouldn't be able to hear the coxswain, but I heard her fine, so that was really reassuring, and that was all I needed to focus in, is just think about our race plan and just go forward with that.
You were a freshman back then. Now you are the veteran senior on the squad. Would you give that same advice, or what advice will you give to newcomers in your crew that haven't rowed at Windermere before?
Yeah, I would give the same advice. Just prep. Just know there's going to be distractions. I think honestly, maybe after the start, you kind of get used to how many people are around you, and there's less to look at, because when you're going that fast and there's so many people, you don't know where to look. So just look ahead and just focus in and focus on what your coxswain is saying, and then you'll get to enjoy all of the festivities and the energy after you're done.
Right. Well, this will be the first Windermere Cup Regatta since that 2019 that you competed. That's more normal. Tens of thousands of fans will be there. In 2020 was canceled due to COVID. 2020 and last year, our Varsity 8 rowed in it, but they discouraged fans from attending. That really reflects kind of how things have gone here. It's been a unique time period to be a college student and a rower. How has this been during your career with just with how COVID has impacted things?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting just thinking back. My first normal season was my freshman year, and I was very new to rowing, so I really didn't know what to expect. And now coming back as a senior, it feels like all of these experiences, the last time we went to WERA's was also my freshman year, and realizing that only a few of us on the team have actually gone through these big regattas and had these experiences. So I've had to be adaptable through the years, but it's fun to finish on this high note and go back to some of the great memories that I had freshman year.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about you personally. Tell us where you're from.
I grew up in California, but my parents are from Everett, Washington, currently.
Great. And if you were to hop in a car in their home and drive to campus without traffic, how long would that take?
30, 45 minutes north.
Great. And why did you choose to come to Seattle Pacific?
At the time when I was choosing college, I'd only been in Washington for about 4 years, and I really enjoyed the state and didn't really feel like, going other places yet. So Seattle Pacific was a great option, and small school that still had engineering, which is basically everything I was looking for. So
I was going to mention you chose a challenging major in engineering and also a challenging sport in rowing. How have you balanced the two?
Yeah, mechanical engineering is pretty intense and a lot of course load. I think it just takes a lot of self-discipline, and I luckily really enjoy what I'm studying, and so even though it's hard, I don't give up, and I know that it'll be worth it in the end. So just a lot of time management and sticking with it.
Well, I feel like I should interject or make it sound how difficult it is, and it is, although you've really been successful there. A great GPA that's put you on the all-GNAC academic team for the third year, and that's the max anyone can be on. What do you see in the future? Tell us about when you'll graduate and what's on in the future for you.
Sure. So I'll graduate this year in June, and I've been interning at a company for the past almost a year now, and I actually have secured a job with them. So I will be working in Bellevue, Washington, for a company that does large-scale projects like engineering design. They do lots of projects with transportation, so lots of things around the Seattle area are designed by the company that I'll be working for, which is really exciting.
Great. One last question. As an engineer, do you look at the equipment you're using in rowing maybe differently than your teammates and appreciate what goes into building those shells?
Most definitely. I think when we're on the water and we're talking about concepts and moving the boat, I think back to my days in physics and understanding how that works, which is pretty fun. And then also just equipment. And I remember I had to take a materials class and learning all about carbon fiber, and I did a whole project about how our boats are made out of carbon fiber and how they used to be like wood and how all the materials are similar. So definitely has come up.
Could you give us a 10-second answer on why carbon fiber? Why is that the ideal fabric?
It's stiff but flexible, which is similar to how wood was. And, boats used to be made out of wood, and they want them to be lighter so they go faster. And they found that carbon fiber, holds those same properties, and they still bend but are still stiff, and that's pretty much it.
There we go. Well, thank you so much for your time and that explanation. We appreciate it. Good luck at the Windermere Cup and have a good time.
All right, thank you.